the chief of the defense staff made a very important statement that grabbed headlines, where he said that yes, we did lose aircrafts. But then he says in a war, we should not look at material loss, we should look at outcomes. That grabbed headlines because it was interpreted as sort of a tacit admission that we did, after all, lose aircrafts during Operation Sindoor. He in fact now tries to give out a statement talking about India's wins during Operation Sindoor. I am with FPJ Executive Editor S. Balakrishnan.
Hi.
Thank you, Bala, for joining us to decode these statements for us, Bala. First, let's go with the first statement about loss in aircrafts. And that immediately grabbed headlines, and there were front pages on literally every newspaper. What did you think of that?
After that, if you see the sequence, when the Operation Sindoor was going on, and soon thereafter, a series of press conferences were held in Delhi by the Defense Ministry, External Affairs Ministry, the entire world media was there, kind of thing. They put out the narrative that all the losses were there only on the Pakistan side. We do not suffer any loss whatsoever, and blah blah, all those things and all that. And everybody actually believed that. Okay, because Pakistan was also not able to produce any evidence of whatever damage they have supposed to have caused to us, kind of thing. But this narrative was completely punctured by no less a person that our own CDS, that on foreign land, which was a huge blunder on the part of the CDS. You don't go to Singapore and then say that we lost aircraft. And that woman, that international reporter who spoke to her, neatly exposed the claim of the Indian government. And no wonder the Indian media picked it up, kind of thing, and it was finally admitted that we have lost five aircraft. Then to kind of in a face saving or damage control, then they say no, war mein to aisa hota hai, there are losses are there, we are not bothered about that. Whether you are bothered about that is not the issue. The question is, why did the government put out a false narrative where everything was hunky-dory with us and only Pakistan suffered losses? The credibility is at stake. The entire Indian nation, the opposition party, everybody, they have stood behind our armed forces, and they will continue to do so because the credibility is still very high. But the way the whole thing has been handled, it is very kind of shocking in such a clumsy manner that the CDS broke the news there in that one on foreign land. And now he has further, now he says that Pakistan wanted to do it in 48 hours, we did in 8 hours. What is it exactly that there are no details, nothing is available. Okay.
So this is very interesting because look at the competing narratives now. On one hand, you have this sort of a statement which says that actually India was arm twisted by the US. Rahul Gandhi is going hammer and tongs over it. He said it in Bhopal. Narendra Surrender has made big headlines that after all it was one call by Trump and tail between your legs you retreated. India is now sticking to this position. The CDS is also now further re-emphasizing that because they could not compete with us, they wanted to wrap us up within a certain period of time, they could not, and that is when they came with folded hands and they begged and pleaded for us to retreat. Now, with this sort of a completely contrasting statements coming from within India, it's a sort of an embarrassment in itself.
No, it's a major embarrassment for our government. And the thing is, does the CDS expect us to believe that you already launched Operation Sindoor, you are going full thrust at the whole thing, and one call comes from Pakistan and then decide, okay, ceasefire? No, there's much more to it. And until date, kind of thing, there is no convincing proof that US did not interfere in the matter. And why would just tell me, as a matter of common sense, why would Trump keep on repeating? At least 8 times he has said that it's because of me. They was going to enter the nuclear threshold, he intervened and then stopped the whole thing. And then to soften the whole thing, you are saying, I offered trade deals with both the countries and all that, which I find extremely, this one kind of plausible as to kind of what happened, because I refuse to believe that because of one call came from Islamabad, we decided, okay, stop it. After having put the entire might of the armed forces to cause immense damage to Pakistan, suddenly one phone call comes and then say, okay, thank you very much, let's go back to our work. There is these kind of statements of the CDS, they beg the question. They are raising more questions than otherwise, and even today there's enormous level of confusion in the MOD and also in the foreign ministry and in the media for that matter, because the media reflects whatever is happening in these two crucial ministries. So the government needs to come out with a strategy as to how to handle any situation, how to communicate with the world and tell them the truth. because there is no harm, even if 5 or 6 aircraft for that matter has been damaged. This thing do happen, kind of thing. But don't make it appear that nothing happened. We did not suffer a single loss. Everything was on the side of Pakistan. This is a very bizarre thing which this government has done.
Yeah. So basically, the questions that still remain unanswered: did we lose aircraft? How many did we lose? The Indian Air Force is not coming up with answers. Now the CDS says we have raised the bar. Earlier we had an attitude of restraint, as a civilized nation. Now we have raised that bar, and our tolerance level kind of is much lower than earlier, and for much less we are willing to, or we are going to strike. That message has been conveyed. To that extent, are you convinced that we are on better ground?
On the contrary, your claim of having a new strategy towards Pakistan, if you hit one bullet, throw one bullet towards us, we'll hit with cannon, all those things, all that. These are all okay for some election rally in Bihar, but in reality, it is not so. Even today, I am of the firm opinion that this government did not handle the situation very well. The media part of it, kind of thing. The different sections were working at cross purposes. You have a CDS who goes to Singapore and then comes out with a completely exposes our own government's claim. A series of press conferences were held. In one stroke, he has exposed it. He comes to Pune, he makes kind of a further statement, which causes more confusion than before. I think it is high time we need a policy as to how to handle this kind of situation vis-a-vis Pakistan.
Right. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Bala,
so
for
much,
joining
Afrika.
us and
Thank you
giving
so
us
much.
clarity
Thank
on
you.
the subject.
Bye-bye.
Thanks very
Take
much.
care.